Hello again, everyone. I'm Richard Weil, and I am the principal and owner of National Restaurant Consultants. And we welcome you in again to the NRC Helpful Moment. This is lucky 207th
Indeed.
edition of the NRC Helpful Moment. And we hope spring is going well for everyone. I know we've been off the air for a couple weeks, spring breaks, and Brian was out, and then I was out. And so it's all good to be back. And happy springtime to everyone. And you know, America's favorite pastime is back in full swing. We've got a lot of places that have had their opening day in the major league cities, and
Yeah.
here in Colorado, I believe our opening day is going to be tomorrow here with the Rockies. So, anyhow, happy spring. Today's topic, and of course, Brian, welcome you in, of course, as
Oh, of
always.
course. Thank you.
Brian Devine, principal and owner of Top Line Management Cafe Fuel. So, I failed to say hello, Brian.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay, so today is the topic for our 207th is plan the plan and work the plan. Now that has a lot of meanings, both operationally and marketing. Marketing, we're going to flip that to Brian here in just a couple of minutes because I know we've got some thoughts there because as marketers, as Brian, of course, is a marketer, it's all about the plan and working the plan and executing, but it needs to marry with the operation side. And when I say you plan the plan and work the plan, it takes both the ideas and the information from marketing to make sure it's executable. I was sitting in a meeting earlier today with one of our clients, and it was really apparent. It was an aha moment again. It's not that I've never heard this before. It's to make sure whatever we market, we've got to make sure that it's executable. We've got to make sure that we deliver on the marketing promise. Now, that's not a new term. I didn't make it up. Brian didn't make it up, but it's the truth that if we put all these promotions and marketing pieces in place and we're not communicating with our operations team and making sure they're trained, they understand, they know how to execute it, point of sale systems, do it with a smile and not on a reactionary basis, then you've got yourself an opportunity to have a very successful program. And as we're setting up these marketing and promotional and plans, we've always got to make sure that the operations can fulfill on the marketing promise. And I see too many times we come up with these wonderful ideas, and all of a sudden we forgot to communicate with assistant managers, the servers, the cooks, even the prep team. And all of a sudden we have a failure. We put these things out to our guests. Our guests have an expectation that we're going to be able to fulfill the marketing promise. So, with that, my thought process for you all is plan the plan and work the plan. I'm going to flip it over to Brian. I know you probably have some insights into that. I know
Uh,
that you got a big smile on your face, Brian, and he's chomping at the bit. So, Brian, take it over. Take
That's
it over.
exactly right. Thank you, Richard. Yes, that is something that holds back both the marketing and the operations side. When you're excited about something, you know that you can produce something on one side or the other, but if you don't communicate, if you don't have that synergy, it will fail. And it will fail badly and spectacularly. And what we find is that, especially with really good marketing, when you push all of the right buttons and you start to really get a lot of flow into a restaurant, you will find where your breaking points are really fast. So you want to make sure that you have, as a part of that plan, the operations side knows where those breaking points might be, so that the marketing side can go, all right, pull out the stops, right? Just no more. Like we hit the number we needed to hit, and anything more will break systems. And then that gives you the opportunity to then go and change the plan and then change your systems so that you can handle it. And Richard, I'm going to tell you a quick story because you actually know this particular client. Because recently we took over a client and took over all of the marketing that had been done for years. And we had a lot of ideas. We know what we're doing. We know how to do it, but we had to pull back on implementation, not because we can't do it as a marketing team, because operations cannot handle what we were going to be putting in place all at once. It's too much. It's an overload. So we get certain things in place, and that's why we have our foundation. You've got to have these certain foundational things in place so that when you start putting more into your plan, that you can work the plan properly and it doesn't just break operations. And it is hard because we have these bells and whistles, we have these really cool fun things that we can do that are exciting, that get results, But if staff is not prepared for it, then not only is it going to go badly for the staff and for your customers, but then everyone's going to be mad at the marketing side, right? Because why did you do that to us? And that's, why I think Richard is a perfect opportunity to really talk about, you have the plan, then you have to make sure that you're working the plan both on the marketing side, on the operations side, that you have that worked out. And yes, sometimes it's going to go wrong. That's just the nature of life, right? I mean, Murphy will show up wherever you go.
In a restaurant, Murphy lives.
Right. So just make sure that as you have that plan, that you're thinking about all the operational sides, that you're thinking about all the marketing pieces. And one of the things that we even had to pull back on is because how things had been done previously with this client, there was no long-term benefit. So if we just kept doing it that way, there's no good reason to do it, because the long-term results weren't there. So we had to put the brakes on, keep things that we knew were going to work, and then start building from there, so that we have time to go to the management, to the staff, and say, here's what we're planning. How will that work for you? What are you doing now? How do we make sure that it works well? It doesn't cause problems. And what we found, of course, this is the best part about doing this planning process, is that you find out that things are being done in a way that is really archaic. There's no reason to make your staff work as hard as they're working generally. We were able to take a lot off their plate and just say, hey, if we just use this instead, would you be okay with that? And they're like, oh my God, yeah, that's going to save us almost an hour a day. Great, right? Because it'll cost us nothing.
Right.
And we're just using technology. We're just leveraging technology to make lives easier. And it's easier now for staff. It's easier now for marketing, and it's easier for your customer. And right, the triple win. That's what we're looking for. So obviously, Richard, I can go on and on about this, but
maybe we'll do a sequel. We'll do a sequel. But next week, I know it's Easter this weekend. It's a mixed bag for a lot of restaurants. It's great. Some of them just knock it out of the park on Sunday, and some of them it's a little bit different. So we've talked about Easter several weeks ago, getting planned. Next week, we're going to talk about Mother's Day.
Yeah.
How do you own Mother's Day the best you can? And some restaurants, it's just, you're a tap room. It's not going to happen in the morning, right? It's just not. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So you've got a lot of things going on, and it's all about you all as the operators and what you can do to maximize the information that we share with you in the NRC Helpful Moment. So that's all I have for today, Brian. How about you?
I think we're good. Thanks so much.
All right. So long for now, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everybody. All right.